An update on the agreement that Bossier Schools entered into in November of 2023 with the North Bossier Civic Club. It was a multi-use facility agreement for Carey Martin Elementary, our elementary school in Plain Dealing that has been not in use as a school campus since 2018. So in the winter of 23, North Bossier Civic Club entered into an agreement with a monthly fee schedule just to use for their monthly meetings and any recreation programs, job fairs, things like that. Mr. Kenneth Gay, that's the president of that civic club, and I have met several times over the last year or so discussing different activities they had there. And he came a couple of months ago and decided that they were no longer going to be needing that facility any longer. They were looking for either maybe a location to meet without a fee schedule, or he wasn't even sure of the future of the club at that time. So I want to let you know that we have ended that agreement. They have cleaned out the furniture and setup they had there, and so we're just in the process right now of doing a good old Carey Martin cleanup and working on the outside, working on the inside, just getting some resources, technology equipment, some furniture pieces, things that could be used in our other campuses right now, and just trying to be wise with the resources we have there and get those into the hands of some other campuses. And so we're just getting Carey Martin ready for whatever the future looks like for that campus, and wanted to let you know that that club is no longer meeting at that site. Does anyone have any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2, request John McConaughey Academic Complex Phase 2 improvements, presented by Mr. Cottom.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Smith, Superintendent Rowland, committee members. So with the completion of Phase 1 and the B1, which is now the Evaluation Center, we're kind of coming to the board to suggest Phase 2, which would be the demolition of 11 of the original residential buildings and doing some roof repairs to the existing gymnasium. So pretty much in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're requesting. We've got some estimated construction costs for this phase. I've got some funding sources. Obviously, one of them is the pending release of the remaining 2012 bond construction funds. And so, does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? I'm very much in favor of us going ahead and demolishing those buildings that are there that need to be, and I'd like to protect the integrity of the gym. We're going to get that roof repaired as well. If there's no discussion, entertain a motion. We have a motion, and would you like to use that out of the committed construction fund as suggested? Sure. Okay. All right, so we do have a motion for the Bossier Parish School Board to move forward with the JMAC Phase 2 improvements with the remaining 2012 bond construction funds. We have a first and a second. All those in favor, please vote by the show of your hand.
What's the second? I'm sorry.
Ms. Smith,
Motion passes.
we're using, can we just clarify the funding source?
From
The remaining bond construction fund?
I guess the committed, whatever where's that going to be released to?
Well, that,
To the 2012 remaining bond funds? Yes, that's what we said.
we're just making you clarifying because we said committed construction fund, which these are two different accounts. Okay.
Item number 3, request Benton High School baseball facility improvements. Mr. Cobb.
Yes, ma'am. So Benton High School has come to us with a request from their booster club to construct a sidewalk, concrete sidewalk, and a pad to provide some aluminum bleachers down the first base side. This is in great need from what we understand. There's a lot of attendance at their ball games, and this provides some relief for that. Obviously, this is completely funded by the Benton Booster Club. They have submitted plans and ideas to us, which we are reviewing and providing comments back to them, and they are complying with everything that we are wanting on our end. So we're just asking for approval for them to move forward.
Any questions? Mr. Bullard?
Madam Chairman, if you'll accept the motion, I would make a motion that we recommend Bossier Parish School Board authorize staff to approve the individual project that's been high school baseball facility improvements, bleacher addition at an estimated total cost of $30,000 funded by Benton Baseball Booster Club.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes. Item number 4, request Town of Benton, Simpson Street Park overflow parking. Mr. Cottom.
Yes, ma'am. So the town of Benton has come to us with a request. As you'll know, there's approximately 3.5 acre site to the east of our current office gym renovation. So most of it is a park that the town uses. In this southeast corner, they're requesting to provide like a gravel or a crushed asphalt parking lot. This will provide relief from the ball fields. Just southeast of this, there's a Benton baseball complex, and they have 4 fields, and they have a lot of congestion. So there is a way to come from the fields through this temporary road, and they're just wanting to use this area, kind of highlighted that I've provided, just for some overflow parking areas.
Question. Aren't they already using this as a parking lot?
It's been grass. They're kind of want to turn into like an official parking lot where they can put wheel stops down and.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith,
Kind of create organization.
just want to catch the board up. We, when we added the 4th field, the parking since then on weekends has been, it's just all over our campus, and which is fine. We don't mind that. We allowed for just the access road there to go to Simpson Street as another way to get out of there. There were some things done back during spring break that were not good, and so we made sure that won't happen again. And then we just looked up and we saw a bulldozer going out across the ground one day, and we were like, no, we need to figure out what we're doing here. And so we got Mr. Cottom involved and been in touch with the mayor, and we're trying to get the toothpaste back in the tube and do things procedurally correct through the board. So this, we don't mind an overflow parking. We just don't want to see a lot of other things right now, because we may be expanding this property and want to keep as much green space as we can. But like you said, they're going to park all over us anyway.
And it is greatly utilized. I know I've been there a few times with my grandson playing baseball, and I think they're using that all as an exit now.
Yes, ma'am.
You can exit the other way because people were blocking, so it is greatly utilized. So do we have a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pass this.
Okay.
You know what I'm doing?
All right, do we have a second? Okay, a second by Mr. Faulting. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes. Item number 5, request facility usage agreements for Benton High School baseball field and Bossier High School baseball and softball fields. Mr. Cottom.
Yes, ma'am. So we have 4 current requests, 1 at Benton and then 3 at the Bossier High School fields, which are actually behind Russian Middle School. 3 of them are youth. 1 of them is an adult league that will be playing at the Bossier High fields. Most of these requests kind of go from right now or spring to summertime, so this is just probably about the next 4 or 5 months. So I've kind of laid out each sort of stipulation for each group. If you have any questions on that, I'd be...
So on item number 3 and item number 4, I assume that the sponsors have met with the coaches and the athletic directors to come up with some type of maintenance?
Yes, sir. Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
You mind? So they're just asking about, these 2 groups
Okay,
right here.
yes, sir. My name is Gary Smith. I'm the athletic director at Bossier High School, and we have met with these groups, and we'd really like them, of course, to do a good job with the upkeep of the facilities. And we don't have we have one baseball coach, we have 2 softball coaches, so that would be, huge in getting some support with that. And the head baseball coach, the head softball coach, and myself is going to make sure over the spring and summer that, we spend plenty of time up there to make sure that's getting done the right way. Does that answer, that help?
Yes, sir. Mr. Coleman, so they'll still sign the releases and everything else?
Yes, ma'am, they've turned the insurance
Okay.
in. Yes, ma'am, we have, all that's in order.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Any
Ms.
other
Smith.
questions? Mr. Newman?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Quick question, is the 800 going to the teams or to the school? For item number 2, the Adult Baseball League, that fee,
Go to the school board. They write checks that go directly to the school board.
I'm not a member of the committee, but could we designate that those funds go back to the school programs that utilize that field?
What-
Is that it's
Well, let
$800,
Ms.
I know,
Bamberg?
go a long way to help those 2 teams.
Absolutely. Though in the past, and the district policy is for all the facility usage revenue to go to the district, because the district is ultimately paying the overall maintenance, the utility bills, and the other things associated with those sites. So that's always been the logic across the entire district, that money goes to, the facility usage goes to the district, so the district can cover those expenses.
Okay, yeah, I know that this particular program, struggles with, raising funds.
Absolutely.
And even gate cost, and I know that would pay for umpires for several games, so that's why maybe we could, send that money back to the team itself for their benefit.
The only concern with that would be singling out this particular site instead, when other sites are also being used. We would just want to make sure that we're consistent with that. Some of the recommendations we make to the schools in these instances is, do they want to do concessions during those games or other things that they can do to also raise revenue during that period? And so we can definitely work with the school to see if there's other alternative sources.
Okay, is the $800 fee, is that a standard thing? Like, is that just something they offered or we charged?
There's a standard fee schedule that Ms. Spinney's department covers, and so there's a standard fee schedule based on the type of facility being used.
So where are you? Oh, there you are. The $800 is not specific to the fee schedule. The fee schedule is created somewhat for a single-use facility. So if they're wanting to hold tournaments on the weekends throughout the summer, it would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for them to utilize that. So what our principals do, they have that autonomy to create a fee schedule that is reasonable. And so that is why Ms. Tugwell, knowing that the baseball and softball fields do need some work, has agreed on this combination of some loads of dirt to help fix the fields and the $800. So while the $800 goes to the district, she's also receiving those loads of dirt that will benefit the program as well.
And that's what I was digging for, is who's getting
Sure.
this money and why, is
That's
that
right.
something that
If we
they
had
offered
everything
up,
go back to the schools, Airline High School's going to have a whole lot of revenue because their auditorium is used about every night of the week year round. And so just to be equitable, that does come back to the district. Thank you.
So they are going to bring some dirt, maybe some grass in. I know I got called by the head coach. I hadn't been able to make it over there yet, but I know that he had issues with the grass in the field. They are going to help him out with that a little bit?
Yes,
Okay.
they are.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Ms. Brotherton?
So just to be clear, we're going to keep it consistent though across the parish, like,
The funds that are brought in for facility usage they're not even filtered through the schools anymore. Ms. Bamberg's
Okay.
department invoices those entities separately, and that money comes directly to the
okay,
district.
just as long as it's consistent.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Madam
Ms.
Chairman, I would make a motion that the committee recommend Bossier Parish School Board authorize the extended facility usage agreements for the use of Benton High School baseball facility, Bossier High School baseball and softball facility with fee adjustments as recommended by staff.
Okay, so I'm going to take the motion by Mr. Faulting because he indicated first, and then the second by Mr. Bullard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. He was just raising over there going, so that's fine. So I'll take the second from Mr. Bullard. Please vote. Don't get me all flustered. Motion passes. Item number 6, W.T. Lewis Elementary School Playground Equipment Addition, presented by Mr. Cottom.
Yes, ma'am. These next two items are basically just kind of an informational report to the committee. This one pertains to a fundraiser that W.T. Lewis did this early this year, and they raised a good bit of money to purchase kind of what you see here in the diagram, a whole new, this would be their third playground set. This would be a K-5 area, and so we just kind of wanted the board to know that and recognize the school for their efforts in fundraising this money, and that this is going to be a great addition to their school campus. Is there any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Item number 7, Bossier High School ADA ramp, Mr. Cottom.
Yes, ma'am. This is just a report item only. This is something we kind of looked into when we were doing the David Raines facility. This ramp will allow ADA access from the school into the band building / David Raines facility. So we're just letting the board know that we have this on order, and this will be placed in a couple weeks, and this, is a need for the facility.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Cottom, and
Yes, ma'am.
thank you
Thank
to
you.
our schools who have raised to contribute money. It seems like we have a lot of projects going on that didn't have to come from the general fund, so that's wonderful. So if there's no other comments or questions, Building and Grounds is dismissed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to meeting of the Transportation Committee. This is more of a presentation, a state of the department, as opposed to requests for approval of various items. Colonel Haddon, much to our dismay, has decided that he wants to stay home. And I can't imagine why. I mean, he has no issues. He had a full head of hair, and it was dark when he came to work.
I've often wondered when I see streaming, who is this guy sitting on the front row because he's bald?
In all seriousness, Colonel Haddon, you have done a wonderful job, and there will be many accolades coming over the next few months. But the Transportation Committee wanted to afford you this opportunity to provide a presentation of what the current status of the department is and our transportation abilities.
I appreciate you reaching out to me to allow me to provide this briefing. So Mr. Bullard and members of the board and Coach Rowland, I don't exactly know what's going on here really. My parents are here. Those little ones right there are my son that is a deputy sheriff for Bossier Parish. These are his too, the little buccos there. So I don't know how they all got an invitation, but they're here. So here we go. Let's go to the staff highlights. Mr. Bullard, very shortly we're going to bring in Coach McGee. Coach McGee and I worked side by side at Parkway for 7 years. When I say side by side, our classrooms were right next to each other. If you were a young lady on the basketball team at Parkway, you had to be a member of ROTC. And those girls loved it. They ended up singing the national anthems before their games. They participated in color guards. And so it was a great relationship. I thank you for allowing Coach to work with us for the past year. I don't give Coach advice. If he doesn't ask for it, I don't give it. But early on, he did say one thing. And he said, Colonel, we're not going to change anything. And my response is, if it's not broke, break it. We've got to keep moving forward. Things change, and in this business, it changes a lot. So expect Coach to be right on top of things, and we're going to keep moving forward. The next person I'd like to highlight is Miss Teresa Giles. If you can raise your hand, Miss Teresa. Teresa runs our HR, our payroll. She's in charge of all our regular ed drivers. She's in charge of drug testing, insurance. She does our conference notes, MVRs, and I can go on and on and on. But the one thing that sets us apart from other districts is she's a third-party Office of Motor Vehicle Examiner. There are only 6 in North Louisiana. 4 of those are private parties. 2 are public. The one district that has a third-party tester does not allow their person to test anybody else outside of the district. And so Teresa supports us. On the weekends, she helps Webster, DeSoto, Caddo, Bienville, any school district that's in need, she's right there to help them. And so we have a significant advantage over other districts. Ms. Lori, raise your hand. Ms. Lori is in charge of our SPED, and she handles the 43 bus aides and the 35 SPED drivers, and does an excellent job. When I first got here, for 2 years, she was trying to get Medicaid reimbursements. The 3rd year she tried, we were just not successful. We wrote letters to our representatives and our state senators, and within a matter of days, things changed. And so I love to go to conferences now, because when they talk about Medicaid, they say, if you have any problems, reach out to Bossier. They've cracked the code. And it's Ms. Lori that has done that. And she's the $1 million girl, because she brings in about $168,000 a year doing that. And while other districts that can do it are around a 62% accuracy rate, She was 94, but she told me the other day it's 97 now, so she does a terrific job. Next slide there, Mr. Kenny is not here. Kenny is the administrator's best friend. He's actually your best friend, because as you get, and I see Ms. Jennifer smiling back there, because as the complaints come in and you guys filter them to me, they go right to Kenny. And Kenny, he just flat does a great job. He's not here tonight. He just had back surgery, but he is actually trying to work from home even though he's on leave. And so very dedicated to helping our principals. Ms. Shelley, if you could raise your hand. Ms. Shelley, you allowed us to hire an extra person in the office. Ms. Shelley does all of our safety and training and goes out to school bus sites to make sure that it's safe. 8 years ago, we were teaching 3 classes a year, and last year she taught 9 classes. She got 60 students through, 23 bus operators. She also helped other districts by bringing on 25 other bus drivers. So I appreciate having her on the staff. Ray Ryman, there's Ray. Ray and I served in the military together. He's retired Air Force. You allowed us to bring in routing software. In the school bus industry, it has not been overly successful. As a matter of fact, Bossier Parish did it twice before I came in, and we didn't make it. But Ray is the guy that makes it happen, and so he's the kind of guy that goes home and does the tutorials, really gets into it, and then he calls the department, the company all the time to get help. That company has reached out to other districts. Other districts call us, and that company says, we can do all of this, and oh, by the way, we're in Bossier. That means you need to get it. So, and it's because of Ray. Mark is back here. Mark, I'm going to come to him in just a second. Next slide. Got a whole slide for Mark. Mr. Bullard, the numbers that are on the left are the numbers that I briefed you in August of 2017. You and I had talked beforehand, and we had some issues, and you kind of blistered me, and that's okay. That's okay, because just like Truman said, the buck stops here. And so when you sign on the dotted line, you inherit the organization that you inherit. And so that's where we were in 2017. And the right column is where you see us today. Now, you may look and say, we have 198 bus drivers, and you may say, wow, that's great. You cut 40. That's not great, because the answer is we really need 212. We are a lot lower than what we should. We just have trouble. We're like the 94% districts across America who are reporting a shortage of bus drivers. And so I'm leaving that for Coach McGee to step it up to 212. So that's a failure on my part. Our bus aides, Ms. Lori has helped us reduce by 8, and we've actually taken 2 of those aides and turned them into disciplinarian aides for Ms. Shelley. So as bus drivers and administrators say they need help, Ms. Shelley and her 2 aides are there to help them. If you can see in bus operator subs, that 5 out there, that 5 means that those 5 want to be hired. The other 9 only want to be part-time. We could not meet our mission, if you look at the bottom, fill in the void with activity drivers. If the ROTC instructor, 2 paras, and the 9 coaches were not helping us every day, we couldn't meet our mission. So much thanks to them and for you guys who allowed us to use those on routes. Heavy reliance on ER plans. I want to give you an example. Mr. McConaughey, Ms. Smith, Ms. Brotherton, you guys are drivers. If Ms. Smith, if you're out, we call in the morning and say, implement an ER plan. And Ms. Brotherton, you already know what streets to pick up. Mr. McConaughey, you would know. And so every day, we're utilizing anywhere from 30 to 41 drivers a day to run ER plans. So we're getting the mission done, but we're going to leave it to Coach. Where'd Coach go on me? Oh, he had to go sign a contract. That's right. Well, y'all let him know he's got to do that. Let's go to the next slide. Student riders. There's where we were 8 years ago, here's where we are today. And so the numbers, just like the population of the school district in 2017 almost mirrors today, so it does as far as student riders go. Our buses, we went from 314, yes, sir.
I want to emphasize, these are students riding the bus. This is not our student population.
That's correct, yes.
So there's
Yes.
no misunderstanding.
That's right. So we're somewhere around 59, 60%, and it stays in that area, that range. The buses, 314 to 294, the real number that we really should be looking at is about 285 to 290, but we need to gradually get to that number, and another slide will show you why. I'm really proud of our staff for our routes. If you recall, many of our drivers were running one route a day, and now a lot are running two. So even though we have a lot less buses on the road every day, they're running two routes instead of one. And there's some more good news coming with that. And on AC buses, I thank you all. Parents, thank you all. Children, administrators, thank you. You've come a long way in that 8 years to get a lot of AC buses on the road. Got a few more to go. Next slide. We're going to quickly spend some time on this. 2007, those have 33 buses. 2009s have 28. You're not going to be able to replace 33 in one year and 28 in another. And Coach McGee, he's been given a plan that shows how we can gradually get into that without hurting the district's pocketbook. Mr. Bullard, you and I and some of the others on the board, if you recall a few years ago, we had to replace 50 buses in 1 year. You remember. And we did that by gradually getting into it and then going and getting a grant for 25 propane buses where we only had to pay for half the cost. So you paid for about 12 or 13 buses. So next slide. This is where I'm going to bring Mark back in. So Mark, if you can raise your hand. Mark had served in the Army, so he has a little military background like me. Your transportation maintenance department is a full operations with the exception of transmissions. We do all of our engine changes, diagnostic testing, get into the ECM, full permissions for software loading from our manufacturers. This is something that other districts don't do. But these guys do it. They are truly diesel engine mechanics, and so happy to have all of them on our staff. Preventive maintenance, our Mark and our military background, we kind of instituted some preventive maintenance programs that have helped our department. Our CAN program, Mark will look at an engine. When you look at the cylinders, if you do a resistance test, it should be 40s. When Mark sees an engine that has 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, that 5 means you're getting ready to blow ahead and lose an engine. And so what Mark will do, will pull that to the side and start scavenging parts off of it. The bus is worth way more in parts than it is turning it in at an auction for $600 to $1,200. And so Mark has done a great job of saving us a lot of money. When we did the grant, we rolled the buses over with 4 wheels, not 6, because if it was a good tire, we were going to save it. And so our campaign program, you guys know them as recalls. And so our Mark's group actually did 3 campaigns where he told the manufacturer, here is a problem and this is how you fix it. And then I get a package in the mail that says, here's another recall. And it was great to hear them say, hey, Colonel, this is the one we designed. And so we've already done 3, and now we're working on a 4th. Our legacy program you're familiar with, all of our 2011s through 2016 buses were a part of 6 class action lawsuits. The company won all lawsuits. But that company came back to Bossier and said, because of your preventive maintenance, because of your oil sampling, because we can use your data to help with this problem, we're going to replace any engines that need to be replaced free of charge. And so we had 30 of our engines replaced. Engines today are running about $27,000 a piece. So really, really proud of our maintenance guys. And so, and lastly, Lean Logistics, John Bruce, if you've had a chance to meet him, we've limited our bench stock where we only want so much bench stock supplies available. We don't need to tie up money. We can get parts quickly. Some of our manufacturers, if it's a hard to get part, those manufacturers are saying, let's sew Bossier as out of this part so we can keep a part on their shelf at their expense, and then when we need it, we get it. And so very few school districts in America get that kind of service. Next slide. Here is where what I call failure in leadership, and you're looking at the leader. In 2008, field trip money was went to $9 an hour. In 2018, I came to you asking for 12, and you gave me 12. I should have come to you sooner. We are having a hard time getting somebody to run a field trip. And I'm now leaving this to coach. But we should have come to you and asked you for a raise for these drivers. We had a field trip recently where Halton Elementary went to Dallas, and we had to take 2 route drivers, which is an absolute no-no. Our priority is to get kids to and from school. And then we had to have a coach from Plain Dealing take a personal day to come over and try to help. And then that forced Plain Dealing to have to get a substitute. I should have come to you and asked you for something more for these drivers. The second is extra runs. When Chief Reeser was here, he was paying $7, $8, $9, $10 a run. Chief Reeser left in 2013. At 2013, we firmed it up at $10 a run. These are your McKinney-Ventos, M2Ms, your Ames, Bipstel, BECs, CBBTs. These are midday runs that we are just all over the road. That is critical that we get these kids to where they need to go to. So if Coach comes to you, I hope you would consider this. Routing changes. You get a lot of phone calls from parents who say the Find My bus says the bus is supposed to be here at 7 and the bus is coming at 6:40. Well, Ray is doing his job down here, but sometimes drivers are changing routes without letting us know. And I have tried to not have that happen. We've had to resort to doing some reprimands here lately. That's the second to the last tool in my toolbox, and I should never have to get to that, but unfortunately we had. And then when it's time to do ER plans, we need to make sure our drivers are answering their emails and their phone calls, because there's nothing worse than a kid coming to a bus stop. All he wants to do is get on the bus, go to school, get some breakfast, get a lunch, learn a little bit, and come home, and he's standing there and he doesn't have a ride to school. This year, unfortunately, at Bossier, we've had a few of those that happen. And it may be acceptable in other districts, but not this one. Next slide. Our successes, we consistently under budget. That's easy to say if you have a bunch of empty bus driver positions. It's a no-brainer to do that. But it is a bit of a challenge on the repair and maintenance side. For 4 years, we steadily went down. COVID hit. After COVID, we went up just a little bit, but we've always been well under Ms. Nisha's budget, and that's because of what these guys and gals do. Salary comparative analysis. This is what you did. You said, we want to compare our bus driver salaries to other districts, and you picked out 10 districts that we want the 10 best, and you picked out 10. And so when that salary comparative analysis came back, they wouldn't exactly tell me, being Nisha, where exactly we were. But if you were number 5, you were competitive. If you were number 10, you were number 1. And she says we were more them more competitive. And so the salaries that our drivers are being paid across this state is very good. There was an article in the Advocate that said Bossier Parish has the highest paid drivers in the state. That's not exactly true. I can do anything with numbers, but it's very close. And when you consider the health care benefits, it probably slips up to the best. And so I applaud you for that. Driving time. Drivers are paid for a little over 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. A driver comes to work, does a few things on her bus to do a pre-trip, he or her comes up, and then when they get to their first bus stop and they open the door, the kid gets on, they go to the campus, they drop the children off, they wait a few minutes, and then they do a second run, and at the end of the second run, when they get off the bus, out of our 270 routes, only 25 exceed 90 minutes. So in this town where traffic is unbelievably hectic, these folks down here have just done a terrific job of making our routes efficient. We've already talked about our maintenance practices. The next one is MSABs. This is from a trip this weekend at Mobile. You guys are you're not off this planet. You're in a whole different stratosphere. This was a home run when you got these things. Our kids at Bossier High going to the state championship, the spirit groups went in style. Our plain dealing kids, our small groups, this was a big one. And so I applaud you for supporting us on that. And of course, because of what these folks do, they've been recognized as a top district fleet in America.
Real quick to your MSABs, that was, I believe that was born out of your idea, and we appreciate that because you see the picture here, but you mentioned Bossier High boys, but also the state superintendent, Dr. Kate Brumley, sent a snapshot to Superintendent Rowland and had a direct conversation with myself because he saw it roll up at University High for the soccer state championships, and our soccer boys from Bossier High School got off of it, and he made a nice little comment about how Bossier rolling up in the nice stuff.
Hey,
I'll put it that way.
This weekend, Suzette had, my wife had about 35 or 40 state representatives and state senators. They wanted to use the buses, but as I told them, my commitment to the board was our kids. And we had a group that wanted to go to Mobile and a group that wanted to go to Austin. And so they're going to go in the MSABs that I told you they were going to ride on. And if a Yellowhound is good enough for our kids, it's good enough for them. Now, I will tell you, we did have one MSAB, and we knocked their socks off. They were absolutely floored that we had these type of buses. So I'm going to close with this. It's going to take a couple minutes, so just bear with me. I still got a few months to go now, Mr. Bullard, so I'm not done yet. But I do want to tell you that I was blessed to have been born with an eye disability that caused me to struggle in school. A blessing, though, that made me work harder. Despite this, I was fortunate to have teachers and coaches that did not allow me to use this as an excuse. My teachers in Bossier Parish schools just said, son, you're just going to have to work harder. As you can see, I'm a little vertically challenged. Back in the day, I was light as a feather, and my coaches said, we're not going to use that as an excuse. You're just going to have to work harder. You're going to have to spend more time on the track, more time in the weight room, and you're going to have to learn the game. You're just going to have to be smarter. But never did they allow me, and I was a high-maintenance kid, I'm going to tell you. They did not allow me to use that as an excuse. I appreciate the level of effort that all of those folks spent on me. I'm going to mention a few names. Carol Jean Wagner. Does anybody remember Carol Jean Wagner? Y'all may know her as Carol Jean Johnston. She made me feel special. She used to bring me to the evaluation center all the time. Little did I know I was probably special. Coaches like Coach Ray and Coach Hendricks and two young coaches right out of college one by the name of Coach Gaspard, Kim Gaspard, and the other by Terry Slack, and they were great to me in high school and just mentors to me my whole life. My leadership team, the three that are here, Coach Downey and Mr. Machin, they have always helped me when I needed help. But there's one particular coach that I want to mention today. And so it's going to involve a story about the Blue Jean League. Has anybody ever heard of the Blue Jean League? Okay, back in the 60s in the Dixie, there was a Dixie League, 10 to 12-year-olds. If you didn't make it in the Dixie League, you can pay some money and go to the YMCA and play. And if your parents couldn't afford to send you to the YMCA, there was a high school baseball coach at Bossier High named Coach Tommy Henry that ran the Blue Jean League. And we would come out and by the way, Coach Billy Wayne Montgomery would help, and in later years, Coach St. Andre. But he would line us all up on Saturdays and say, you nine are on the squirrels, the rabbits, the skunks, raccoons, whatever. And every Saturday you may be on a different team. I was 6 years old along the fence, and Coach Tommy Henry said, hey, you little fella, you come out here with me. Now these are 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. But I played for 3 years with Coach Henry standing right on the side of him. And when I struck out, when I was batting, he would say, you're not sitting down until you hit the ball. And so when I would get off the bus, old bus 13, in the afternoon, if I heard something at Walbrook Park, I was running to the park. Because if Bossier High was playing, Coach Henry was going to let me be the Bossier High bat boy. And so one of the highlights of my life is we were at a state championship game, unfortunately losing 77-41, if y'all remember Parkway and Acadiana. And a fella taps me on the shoulder and said, excuse me, sir, my name is Tommy Henry. And I got to tell you, Coach, I've been wanting to talk to you for 50 years. And so this is, he just meant so much to me. And don't let me forget Coach Billy Wayne Montgomery. I had a plastic black TG&Y glove, and Coach Montgomery got me my first glove. Now, it was probably a used glove, but it was my glove. And it was probably way too big, but I appreciate that. Some of my Bossier School teachers and coaches are long gone. Many of those that are still left today resemble a lion who sleeps in winter. But nonetheless, all of them are still lions to me. These people, along with those in the audience tonight, my group that sits over here, I couldn't make it without them, and these right in here. They all remind me that this is not a job. This is who we are here in Bossier. People who emphatically protect and teach our children. And so, Mr. Bullard, I'm truly thankful for the opportunity given to me to serve in this position, really to attend school in this district, and I'm thankful for the blessings that's been bestowed upon me. So I'm going to turn this back over to you, Mr. Bullard.
Colonel, we appreciate very much the information you provided, but more so we appreciate what you have done for this school system over the years and what you mean to it. You will always hold a special place. And we'll talk about this more in days to come. You hadn't pulled the plug yet, nope. So nope. We'll be seeing you around. You mentioned your parents are here. Please introduce them.
My dad, go ahead, Pop. My dad spent 44 years in the railroad. His dad spent 43, and his grandfather spent 38 and died at 45 years old. And Dad said, one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to work for the railroad. And so I had to go to school. I had to go at least 16 years of school. And my mom, Connie, I'm awfully proud of her. She's a full-blooded Italian, and I thank the world of her. She had 5 boys. And when you're half Italian and you're half Irish, it doesn't make for a good combination, to be honest with you. It's tough on Mom. So, and I guess the little ones have all departed. So, yeah. Yes. and my son JD, John David, and so he a product of Bossier Schools, and so he said he always wanted to be a law enforcement officer, Sparkhouse, and I said, you're going to go to college. And after he graduated from Northwestern, he said, Dad, I still want to be a law enforcement. You lived up to your end of the bargain, so we're awfully proud of him. Yeah.
Great.
Suzette never recognizes me at anything, so and obviously my wife Suzette, she's retired from spent many years here. She retired out of Northwestern and now works with Mr. Bamberg, and she spent 6 months retired, but after she fixed my John Deere, my Mahindra, and painted the barn and did all those things, she said she had to go back to work. So
I believe Mr. Bachhaus had a comment.
Colonel, I was just going to tell you, I've heard a lot about Mark, and I've heard what I heard about you of being a excellent military man, and I appreciate both of y'all's service that you did. And there's just no words that, number one, what I've heard about Mark doing for us as a soldier, and there's no words to thank you and your team for what y'all have done.
And
Thank you.
little known fact, you and I talked, but I appreciate your service too. So you served as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there are no other comments, thank you again, Colonel Haddon. And I believe we need to move on because we've got a regular meeting that should have started a minute ago. The Transportation Committee meeting for this day is now over.